Welcome to our deep dive today.
Oh,
We're
nice.
going way back in time,
Mhm.
billions of years, to explore one of the biggest mysteries there is,
Right.
the origin of life on Earth.
Yeah.
Picture this, a planet under constant asteroid bombardment, volcanoes erupting everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and an atmosphere crackling with lightning. Not exactly the kind of place you'd expect to find life, right?
It does paint a rather dramatic picture, doesn't it? Early Earth was a wild and chaotic place, a far cry from the life-sustaining planet we know today.
Yeah.
So the question is, how did life even get a foothold in
Wow.
such a hostile environment?
That's what I find so fascinating. It's like solving a cosmic puzzle. And every piece we uncover seems to point to one crucial ingredient,
Mm.
water.
Hmm.
We all know it's essential for life as we know it. But it's easy to overlook how truly unique water is.
You're right. It's not just a passive liquid. Think of water as a master connector, a
Yeah.
facilitator. It allows molecules to mingle and react
Yeah.
in ways that wouldn't be possible otherwise. Imagine a complex dance with water as the choreographer, guiding molecules into the intricate partnerships that ultimately lead to life.
I love that analogy. Without water, the molecules of life would be like strangers at a party, just standing around awkwardly. So we have our dance floor. We have our choreographer. Who are the dancers in this story of life?
The dancers are simple molecules: carbon dioxide, methane, ammonia, and of course, water itself.
Right.
These were the basic ingredients swirling around in Earth's early atmosphere. Now add in the energy from lightning strikes and volcanic heat.
It sounds like the start of an epic chemical reaction.
Exactly. That energy spurred those basic molecules to form more complex structures, much like individual dance steps evolving into a choreographed routine.
Right.
And there's one experiment that beautifully illustrates this process: the Miller-Urey experiment.
Ah, yes. The famous experiment.
Yeah.
Didn't they recreate the conditions of early Earth in a lab?
Precisely. In 1953, Stanley Miller and Harold Urey took a mixture of those simple gases we talked about and subjected them to electrical sparks, mimicking lightning. What they discovered was groundbreaking. Amino acids, the building blocks of proteins, had formed in their simulated primordial soup.
So they didn't create life itself.
Yeah.
But they proved that the essential components of life could arise from non-living matter. That's a pretty big leap, isn't it?
It was a monumental discovery. For the first time, we had a glimpse into how the seemingly impossible could actually happen.
Wow.
It opened up a whole new understanding of how life's building blocks could spontaneously assemble under the right conditions.
Yeah.
But of course, the journey from amino acids to a living, functioning cell is still a long and complex one.
Right. It's like going from a pile of bricks to a skyscraper. There's still a lot of steps in between.
Yeah.
So how do we bridge that gap? What takes us from these building blocks to something that's actually alive?
That's where another fascinating character enters the scene: RNA.
Okay.
You've likely heard of DNA, the molecule that carries our genetic information. But RNA is like its slightly less famous cousin. Like DNA, it can carry genetic information, but it also has a special trick up its sleeve. RNA can act as a catalyst, speeding up chemical reactions.
So RNA can pull double duty. That's fascinating. What does that mean for the early stages of life?
This dual capability is why some scientists believe that RNA may have been the star of the show in the very earliest forms of life, a time some call the RNA world. Imagine a world where RNA molecules were not only carrying genetic information, but also driving the chemical reactions needed for life to emerge.
It's like those multi-talented performers who can sing, dance, and act all at the same time. But how do we go from these RNA molecules to something resembling a cell, a structure that we can point to and say, this is life?
Picture those RNA molecules constantly replicating and interacting within the primordial soup. Now imagine them starting to cluster together, perhaps within tiny bubbles made of lipids or fatty acids.
Hey.
These bubbles acted like protective barriers, creating a separate internal environment, and with that, you have the first primitive cells, the precursors to all life on Earth.
So we're talking about a major leap forward, from free-floating molecules to something that resembles the basic unit of life, the cell.
Precisely. These weren't the complex cells we see today. They were simple, single-celled organisms. But crucially, they were alive. They were capable of taking in nutrients, expelling waste, and replicating themselves.
Wow.
It marked a monumental transition from non-living matter to the building blocks of all life on Earth.
It's amazing to think that all the incredible diversity of life we see today, from the smallest bacteria to the largest whales, traces its lineage back to those humble beginnings.
Absolutely. And what's even more fascinating is that this story doesn't end there. We've only just begun to explore the next chapter, a pivotal moment that transformed Earth and paved the way for the evolution of more complex life forms.
You're talking about the rise of oxygen, right? Eager to hear about that. It's incredible to think that something we depend on so completely was once practically a pollutant. How did that transformation happen?
Well, you have to thank a tiny but mighty organism.
Okay, tiny but mighty. You've got me intrigued. What kind of organism could have such a profound impact on the planet?
We're talking about cyanobacteria, microscopic bacteria that were true pioneers. They developed this incredible ability to use sunlight to produce energy, a process we know as photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis. The ultimate life hack. Plants do it, algae do it, but cyanobacteria were the original trailblazers, right?
Exactly. They were the first to master this ingenious process. And here's the thing. A byproduct of photosynthesis is oxygen. As these cyanobacteria thrived in the ancient oceans, they started pumping out oxygen as a waste product.
So oxygen, which is essential for us and so many other life forms, was essentially pollution at first.
In a way, yes. It's a fascinating paradox, isn't it? But this pollution had a profound impact on the planet. Over millions of years, oxygen levels in the atmosphere gradually rose, and this had a dramatic impact on the existing life forms.
That makes sense. Oxygen is a very reactive element. It must have been a real game changer for those early organisms. It's like suddenly changing the rules of the game.
Precisely. Some organisms couldn't adapt to this new oxygen-rich environment and went extinct, but others evolved ways to not only tolerate oxygen, but to actually use it to their advantage.
Wow.
This led to the development of aerobic respiration, a much more efficient way to generate energy than the anaerobic processes that existed before.
Ah, so that's the connection. Respiration, the process we use to breathe and fuel our bodies, was a direct result of this oxygen revolution.
You got it. And with this new, more efficient way to generate energy, life was no longer limited to simple single-celled organisms. The rise of oxygen paved the way for the evolution of larger, more complex, multicellular life.
Wow.
It's the foundation for the incredible diversity of life we see today.
It's mind-blowing to think that our own existence and the existence of every animal and plant we see around us is ultimately thanks to those tiny cyanobacteria and their oxygen-producing photosynthesis. It really highlights the interconnectedness of all life on Earth. We often talk about the importance of trees for producing oxygen, but cyanobacteria were the original oxygen factories, weren't they?
They were, and they still are. It's estimated that even today, cyanobacteria contribute a significant portion of the oxygen in our atmosphere. They play a vital role in maintaining the delicate balance of our planet's ecosystems.
It's a good reminder that even the smallest organisms can have a monumental impact. So let me try to recap what we've explored so far. Life emerged from the primordial soup of early Earth, driven by water, simple molecules, and energy sources like lightning. Then came those revolutionary first cells, simple but alive. And finally, the oxygen revolution, spearheaded by those incredible cyanobacteria, changed the course of evolution forever, setting the stage for the complex life forms we see today. It's a pretty epic tale.
It really is. And when you think about it, the conditions that allowed for life to arise on Earth are based on fundamental principles of chemistry and physics. These principles aren't unique to our planet, which raises some fascinating questions.
You're talking about the possibility of life on other planets, right? This deep dive has definitely gotten me thinking about that. If life emerged from such basic building blocks here on Earth, what are the chances that similar processes might be happening elsewhere in the vast universe?
It's a question that has captivated scientists and philosophers for centuries. And in recent decades, we've made some incredible discoveries. That suggests we might not be alone in the cosmos.
Like what? What kind of discoveries are we talking about?
Well, for one, the discovery of extremophiles right here on Earth.
Extremophiles. Those are organisms that thrive in extreme environments, right? I've heard of those.
Exactly. These organisms can survive and even flourish in conditions that we would consider incredibly harsh. Places like deep-sea hydrothermal vents, acidic hot springs, or even the frozen wastelands of Antarctica.
Wow.
The fact that life can exist in such extreme environments here on Earth suggests that it might also be possible on other planets and moons that we once thought were completely uninhabitable.
That's amazing. It really broadens our perspective on what life might look like and where it might exist. So we're not necessarily talking about little green men on Mars, but perhaps microscopic organisms clinging to existence in some seemingly inhospitable corner of the universe.
Exactly. We might not find life as we know it, But that doesn't mean life isn't out there in some other form, adapting and evolving to its own unique environment.
It's like the universe is a giant laboratory, conducting countless experiments in life. It makes you wonder what incredible and bizarre life forms might be out there, just waiting to be discovered.
But the possibilities are endless, and that's what makes the search for extraterrestrial life so exciting. It's a journey of discovery, a quest to answer one of the most profound questions humanity has ever asked. Are we alone?
It's a question that has implications far beyond science. It touches on our understanding of our place in the universe, our sense of wonder, and our very definition of what it means to be alive.
You've hit the nail on the head. It's a question that forces us to confront the vastness of the cosmos and to grapple with the possibility that we might be just one small part of something much larger than we can even imagine.
And even if we never find definitive proof of extraterrestrial life, the very act of searching, of pushing the boundaries of our knowledge and exploring the unknown, is profoundly meaningful.
Absolutely. It speaks to our innate curiosity, our desire to understand the world around us, and our enduring fascination with the mysteries of the universe.
Well, this deep dive has certainly ignited my sense of wonder. We've journeyed from the chaotic beginnings of life on Earth to the tantalizing possibility of life beyond our planet. It's been a fascinating exploration, and I'm sure our listeners feeling just as inspired as I am.
I hope so. And as we wrap up our deep dive into the spark of life, I'd like to leave our listener with a thought to ponder.
I'm all ears. What thought-provoking question should our listener take away from this deep dive?
We've traced the epic journey of life from those simple building blocks, in the primordial soup to the incredible diversity we see today. And we've even touched upon the possibility that this incredible story might be unfolding on other worlds across the universe. But perhaps the most important question to consider is this: what does it all mean? Knowing that life arose from such humble beginnings, what does this tell us about our place in the grand scheme of things?
That's a profound question. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and lose sight of the bigger picture. This deep dive has definitely given me a renewed sense of awe and wonder.
It's humbling, isn't it, to think that our very existence is a direct result of these incredible events that happened billions of years ago. We are part of an unbroken chain of life that stretches back to those first primitive cells, a chain that connects us to every living thing on this planet.
And perhaps even to life beyond our planet if it's out there. It makes you appreciate the interconnectedness of all things, doesn't it? We're not just isolated individuals, we're part of something much larger than ourselves.
Exactly. It's a reminder that we share a common origin with all life on Earth, and possibly even with life beyond Earth. And this realization can have a profound impact on how we view ourselves, our relationship with the natural world, and our responsibility to protect the delicate balance of life on our planet.
It's a reminder that we're part of something truly special, something precious and unique. And it makes me want to learn more, to keep exploring and asking questions.
And that's the beauty of science, isn't it? It's a never-ending journey of discovery. Every answer leads to new questions, and every discovery opens up new possibilities. So keep asking questions, keep exploring, and who knows what amazing things you'll find.
Well said. A huge thank you to you for taking us on this incredible journey. It's been an eye-opening exploration of the origins of life and the possibilities that lie ahead.
The pleasure was all mine.
And to our listener, we hope you've enjoyed this deep dive as much as we have. Until next time, keep exploring the wonders of our universe.